So we're going to tie a pearly white flexo. Slightly different to your standard tying technique because the hook the weight is exposed, so the tubing is all tied on top of the shank between the hook point and the weight. One main advantage to this is it makes the fly flip very quickly in the water because your center of gravity compared to the materials is much lower. You can also go very light like this as well, down to a 2mm dumbbell. So let's get started there. So hook wise is an SL12 size 2. Great permit hook and triggerfish hook. Thread is a 210 Danvers flat waxed and white. Just adding a 4mm nickel coat or silver coated brass dumbbell eye. So just drop a super glue there. Wrap it down nice and tight. We've got that's not going anywhere, I don't think. No. Then we're going to bring the thread. We're going to bring it all the way around the bend of the hook up to the vise. Then I'm going to take this pearl braid. This is an 8mm. I got it from a haberdashery store. Just trim that end off nice and neat, and then I'm just going to singe the end. Just squeeze it slightly to make a little point. Now the reason that I'm doing that is it makes a nice little tie-in spot so that the thread has something to catch. Stops it sliding off as easily. That stops the tubing unraveling. So we go, just going to lock that down. Add a drop of super glue there. Just a small drop because I don't want it to soak in too much. Just to clean that thread up there. Right. And you're going to lift the tubing out of the way. Bring a thread forward to just behind the eye. Now to get the shape of the body, I'm just going to compress the tubing back a touch to get that mound. You can't go too much, it's kind of a fine line. So I'm just going to hold it there with my thumb and forefinger. See pretty much the shape that I want. So I'm going to couple of wraps. I squeeze the tubing as I'm wrapping that between my forefinger and thumb, just making sure that when it's squashed, it ties in quite nicely with that crabby shape. A couple of loose wraps just behind the eye, just so that when I cut this off, it doesn't, my thread's out of the way. Right, so your body pretty much done. Just going to pop in a 25-pound weed guard. Mason hard mono here, 25 pounds. Just got about 3 mils in the pliers there. Squeezing it, bending it. So it gives you a nice flat tying point. Drop a super glue there just to lock that weed guard in place. I'm just going to do a couple of wraps behind it to lift it up, and then I'm going to tie this off. And that is the body done. Trim off the excess weed guard there. There we go. So as you can see, that's your body done nicely. Next, we're going to take some micro chenille. Just going to straighten this in my fingers a touch by running it through, get some kinks and curls out. got a couple to do, so I'm going to take this, make this quite long. So I'm just doubled it over, so this in a loop. I'm just going to do a single overhand knot, right over left, pull it tight to make one claw. Turn the vise up on its side. I'm going to thread this through with my homemade threader. Pop it through and pull it, and then pull it up so the knot is just touching the other side of the body. As you can see, just touching the body there. And then I'm going to create another overhand knot. Just adjust it so that there's not too much length between the two knots. Kind of like it. So that if you hold the knots over, they're pretty much the same as the tie-in points of the body. So just split those up. Split them up. So that's your crab claws done. Next, I'm going to thread in the legs. It's a bit more difficult to do on this pearl tubing because obviously the pearl mylar gets in the way of the threading the bodkin through. It's one leg, it's just going left to right. I'm just putting it through just on the crease. See if you can see this side a bit better. It's probably easier once all the legs are through. So I'm just putting it through on the crease of the body there. Last one. Do this a lot quicker with a standard flexor when you're not trying to get it past that mylar as well, because you don't want to pull on that mylar because it'll mess up the shape of the crab body. So once you've got all three, just trim off the excess there. You can also cut these to length. Still a touch long. You can pre-cut them to length as well, so you're just pulling through and lining up the tips, which I probably should have done, but this works just as well. Singe the tips. Now I singe the tips before I put glue in, and the reason being is the stuff catches the light really quickly, so if you're not careful you can lose your fly if it's already glued in. So I tend to singe them before they get glued, because if it catches the light and I don't catch it in time, you can re-thread one through. Just putting the eyes again just above the crease, and I'm just threading it. Probably can't see, but I'm angling it. I'm angling it so that I'm going above the legs and claws running on the inside of the body, like so. So they're coming out the back. Trim off that excess, and then again, just using my thumb to hold the eyes into place, I'm just going to singe the back of these, just where it's hot. Dab it down to create a little bump, which the glue will then grab when I seal this in later on the fly turner. So that's the fly pretty much completed. All that's left to do is you can either use UV glue. I don't use UV glue anymore, so I use, again, everyone's seen it on previous videos, Gorilla Glue Crystal Clear, and I just run a little bead up along the shank on both sides, a tiny drop. Just get something that I can point with a bit better. Tiny drop just on that claw and on that front eye, and then a drop on the butt ends here, on the bottom, and on the three legs, so it catches all three legs as well, and the butts of the eyes. And that's it. I put that in the fly turner and leave it to dry for an hour before I take it out, and that is your shiny Flexo Mylar McJobby. Anyways, thanks for watching, and yeah, hope this helps someone in their time.